everyone, this is Emily.
This is Stephanie.
And we are back again with a horoscope book review, and this time we are doing Virgo. And the reason I'm saying it like that is because my fellow presenters are Virgo.
Yes, I am a Virgo.
So would you like to kind of mention a few things that you like about yourself?
Well, as far as I know, Virgos are usually very pragmatic, kind of a perfectionist sometimes, depending on certain things. They're very honest. They're supposed to be creative too, I think.
You don't find yourself creative?
Well, yes, to some degree, yes, but I don't consider myself like extra creative compared to other people. There are no negative things about Virgos.
Again, this is where I say no comments, but no, I have comments.
Okay.
So first part is that, to your credit, I do find that Virgos are more subtly creative. I don't necessarily think that they're probably the most outlandish type of characters that you'll find in any story, or even, I guess, within your group. Like, I feel like a lot of times they're pretty reliable because they believe in that. Like, they want other people to be reliable, so therefore they're going to as well. They're generally pretty nice people when it comes down to, like, the fundamentals. Not necessarily like the sweetest person. Like, being sweet is very different from being nice. So nice is generally like you sort of go out of your way to try to make sure that everyone is relatively happy with whatever is going on. Of course, if like the rules aren't like obvious to you, then perhaps there are times when like things clash. But generally, if things are like, if it's a social situation, you kind of come in with an expectation that like you'll be able to like please everyone, and when you kind of can't, that can kind of cause a little bit of tension, I guess, when it comes down to like, I don't know if that's actually true for you, but that's what I've noticed a lot about Virgos, and that it has been a common characteristics mentioned about Virgos, just generally because of your perfectionistic tendencies. Yeah,
so not only that, but like I think you're also very dedicated. And we're not very, because we're so like perfectionist, we're not very prone to like spontaneity. How do you pronounce
spontaneity?
Yeah, spontaneity. Just because we're like, we don't like things like, we don't like surprises as much. So, and then if we do, we plan around it because we're just like, can you figure out the problem?
It's like, I like, you deal with it. Funny enough, I think I've encountered a few moments like that before. But at the same time, I would say that just to be fair, balanced, because of the fact that you are not as embracing of things that are more like spontaneous, I would say that sometimes you can come across, not you in particular, like the royal you, like my sister is a Virgo, so just as a defense, sometimes a little bit of come across, not necessarily be, but like narrow-minded. Because of the fact that you're so tunnel visioned on what you want to happen, and it's then in that case it gets very hard for someone else to be like, well, is there room for me in this particular scenario?
I feel like for me specifically, it's like, yes, I agree with that, but I think also at the same time, once you tell me or like explain to me like your side, I can like quickly be like, okay, I get it. But like if you don't explain it to me, I'll just be like, well, I don't understand, like this makes sense to me, and like if you don't want to like further explain yourself, I'll just be like, well, I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a personal account. But yeah, I would say that, simply put, in general, like just because we were talking about it before, I wouldn't find Virgos to be the usual zodiac types to really go with the flow. I think a lot of what you are more oriented towards is like sort of planning things out, making sure things work, and by doing that, you're trying to accomplish, prosperity, all those other things that you care about, riches, fame, blah blah blah. Okay.
So moving forward, the book that I picked, I've been talking about this a lot, I feel like, in a bunch of videos, but I picked Six of Crows by LEIGH Bardugo, just because Kaz in particular, he is literally the definition of Virgo. Like he is so meticulous in his planning, and he's very dedicated and hardworking. Like he basically spent his life with this goal in mind. Like he's very, in that way, I feel like you said, like he has like tunnel vision, because he like just sees that goal, and sometimes he doesn't see anything else except for that. And obviously when I say he sees nothing else, I mean in terms of like how people feel probably. Like he sees and assesses the situation very quickly, which is why he's so why he's such a good planner. So I feel like he's like, I don't know, I just feel like for me I'm like this. So in the book I feel like he made sense to me. He like made the most sense to me. Cool. Plus like and then when things like, you know, obviously in the life of crime, like, you know, mishaps can happen and things that, you know, you're not expecting can occur, but then he's able to really like easily like figure out a new situation or a new plan. So
he just doesn't give up on like his ultimate destination.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And so for my choice, just because you did all the positive attributes, I have to do grayer ones. Listen to my wording here.
Okay.
I picked The Circle by David Eggers, and it's a story that's actually been adapted into a movie with Emma Watson in it, but it details a story of this girl who kind of rises from a customer service rep to work for the biggest like tech firm out there, keen to like Google of our world.
Yeah.
And this is a very like modern day realistic telling, like it's still fiction, of like sort of the dangers that kind of come with working for such a huge corporation and the sort of tech that they're endorsing, because there's such a barrier between privacy and like I guess convenience that's sort of being blurred in the story, and she somehow gets kind of wrapped into it. And the reason why I kind of chose it was that I see Virgos as generally extremely hardworking people. They're very much like they understand the ideas of like having tiers of needing to go from one place to the other, so they're not as likely to want to like, or as encouraging to want to like just suddenly like play a lot of games to like skip steps. They understand the value of trying to like figuring out one step at a time, earning people's like dedication and respect through their work. And she very much came off, the main character of the story really came off it like that, but at the same time, like at the story itself is a bit of a thriller. So when she kind of goes into this issue, because there's so many things that spontaneously happen, she is able to really reconcile with it emotionally, and therefore because she doesn't really have an idea of like a plan or perhaps just because of her youth, like a very resonant like emotional idea of who she is without all that strategy, she kind of loses herself in the process. So I feel that maybe in that case, Virgos are very decently ambitious, but just given the nature of how cautious they are, it can also be seen as it could also work against them, just because of the fact that if there are situations where you can't be like that, sometimes you might lose yourself in the process. So I would say that like that's kind of like the balance to your thing. I do think that most of your qualities are very much like admirable and eager to learn them, but at the same time every positive comes with its own, you know, set of consequences.
So anyway, those are our two picks for Virgos out there. Let us know if you agree with them or not. I mean, I'm a Virgo, so I would agree with my pick. But
she can attest if she actually even likes mine, but
I mean, I haven't read it, so I don't know. Yeah. But so let us know if you agree with us or not. Let thumbs up if you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, and we also have a presence on Twitter, Instagram, as well as Facebook, so please hit us up there as well with any sort of comments or likes that you also appreciate.
Anyway, that's it for today.
Thank you guys.
Bye.